How many times have you looked at the caller ID and debated whether you should pick up the phone or not? And you finally decide to answer the call, and the person says 5 little words that send you over the edge. Watch till the end of the video, and I will show you how to handle these unexpected reactions. For those of you that don't know me, I am Vismaya Rubin, founder of Living in Gratitude Today, teacher, speaker, best-selling author, but my favorite role is that of a gratitude gangster. What? And if you're not yet subscribing to my Living in Gratitude Today channel, please click the subscribe button and that bell so that you get notified when I put out new videos. So what causes those unexpected reactions? The unexpected reactions are caused by emotional triggers. And an emotional trigger is anything that makes us feel really uncomfortable. Think about this. Has this ever happened to you? Your best friend gets engaged and you feel like you just got punched to the gut. You find out that your coworker got the promotion and you feel like a punch to the gut. You're working on this beautiful yacht or in this beautiful building and you feel like you got punched in the gut. The people that you follow on social media who have very similar content to you are getting a lot of engagements, a lot of likes, and you feel like you're getting punched in the gut because you're not getting the same amount of likes. So on one level, you're really happy for your friend and your coworker and the yacht owner and your fellow creator. Yet, you feel envious, you feel angry, you feel sad, and you feel frustrated. So their good news leaves you feeling like you're not enough and fearful that you'll never have the same successes or opportunities that they do. And you question, why am I not engaged? What's wrong with me? Why don't I have the promotion? Why don't I get the job? Why don't I have the money to buy the yacht? Why am I not getting as many likes or views or interactions on my videos? And the bottom line is this: it has nothing to do with that current situation. These emotional wounds are wounds that need to be healed. They're wounds based on past events and fears that you may not have fully dealt with. Brené Brown says that anger and frustration, sadness and envy can generate these strong feelings of shame because you think that you are not living up to other people's expectations, and more importantly, you're not living up to your own expectation of what you should be doing or should have or where you should be in your life. So, in the beginning of this video, I promised you that I would give you the steps to deactivate these triggers, and I will. But here's a word of warning. It is much easier to remain activated than it is to get to the root of the problem. It is much easier to explode, to feel the triggers, to deal with the triggers. It is much easier to do that than it is to get to the root problem. So, you ever hear the saying, let sleeping dogs lie? You've lived with these triggers and you've been okay. Getting to the root of them is really about doing the work. And that's where we dredge up some icky stuff. But I promise you, if you find out the root problem, it's smooth sailing from then. And I'll tell you, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, and if you find that it's getting to be really heavy and you're not able to do the work, then maybe you need to find a professional to help you go through and navigate through this stuff. But if you think you can do it on your own, here are the steps. The first thing is this: get a journal, and in your journal, write down all of the things that you know that trigger you, the conversations that you know you have with people that make you feel really uncomfortable. And acknowledging these triggers is really the first step. So if somebody says to you, so are you dating anybody? If that starts to trigger you, write it down. How's work? You like what you do? If it starts to feel that way, write it down. How's your health? You look like you've gained a little bit of weight and you start to feel yourself boiling up, write it down. You know, if you notice that people around you have really nice things or are going on these elaborate vacations or these luxurious vacations and you're not, and you're finding yourself triggered by that, write it down, because there's probably some sort of emotional trigger that's happening that you just don't realize it right now. You're not at the root cause. So the first thing is to write down the things that you know that trigger you. The second, and this is really where the root of the problem gets deactivated, and this is the part that is sometimes the most painful and the most powerful. So the second part of this activity is to track the origin of the trigger. So what do I mean? It means to go back and find, when did this happen for the first time? When did this start? What was the first interaction that you remember having where you got that feeling? Maybe your parents told you, listen, it's a good thing you got the brains because you're not that handsome or pretty. So you believed, you started to have those beliefs. Maybe, your mom used to say to you, don't eat that cookie. Nobody's going to want to marry a fat girl. Or your father said to you, you better be athletic because if you're not athletic, nobody's going to want to date you. So every time you see somebody who's really built and bulky, you're like, you feel bad. Getting to the origin of this trigger is really sometimes not, it's a little messy. But again, I promise you, this is where the meat and the potatoes lies. This is the juicy part, because once you release that, you'll start to notice a whole lot of freedom in that area. So again, number one is acknowledge where the triggers are. Number two is find the origin, find the root of this trigger. Number three, write down, why does it make you feel so bad? What are you saying to yourself about yourself? So basically listen to the inner mean boy or girl that's screaming when you get triggered. What's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. If only I wasn't as fat, I would have a lover. If I was a better, if I was prettier, I would be engaged. If I was smarter, I would get the promotion. If I was, all of these things, I would have the luxurious things that other people have. And the last part, which is really the most fun and is not always it is the easiest, but you get to play. And the last part is act as if you had all those things. So when you're writing in your journal and you've already written down all the things that, you've acknowledged the triggers, you looked at the origin, you realized all the things you were saying to yourself, flip the script. Write down a new scenario. What would you say to yourself if none of that was true? Wow, you know what, Vismaya, you're able to, it's been so nice. You were able to eat the cookie or feel, you were able to enjoy the dessert. And then as you were eating that delicious dessert in this most luxurious restaurant, you looked up and there was the man of your dreams. And I'm just totally making this stuff up right now as I'm creating with you. But the idea is this: act as if. So before you can act as if, write as if. Write as if you have the best life that you possibly could have. Write as if those triggers no longer existed. And think about that for a second. How much more delicious would life be if we were not triggered, if we were able to release the pain that those events have the hold that those events have had on us. So I invite you to take this on again, play with me a little bit, because when we play and when we open ourselves up to the real deep conversations that we need to have with ourselves, that's when we can truly live in gratitude today. So if you got anything out of this conversation today, please in the comments, let me know. What did you learn? What was the most powerful part of this? Are you willing to take it on? All right, so again, I am Vismaya Rubin, founder of Living in Gratitude Today, and I look forward to seeing you and being with you again very soon. And again, if you have not subscribed to this channel, click the link below and subscribe. Click on the bell, and that way you'll get notified of all new videos coming up. Bye, everyone.